Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. Let's get straight to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled. So, man, they are regulators. Mount up. They are mounting up in Jackson, Mississippi and Senatopia, Mississippi, right? And look, is it for good reason? Well, anytime a child loses his life, it's a great reason to bring the community to get together to ask questions. Why? Right? At the same time, you got to hold everybody involved accountable. Now, what happened in Senatopia in front of that Walmart got me baffled, right? And got a lot of other people baffled. But there's a big uprising in the Black community in the city of 8,000 where they have said enough is enough. Now, we know traditionally Mississippi, down south, as south as you can get, right, has always been a tension-filled city between Black and white. It's always been a racially charged state. You know, it got a long history that dates all the way back to slavery, dates all the way back to the civil rights and the oppression of the Black community. We know that, okay? A lot of people say, let the past lay in the past. But I will say that everything that has happened in the timeline of America is definitely going to come into play when something like this happens. It brings all the bad energy and all the old memories back, right? And it gives people an excuse and a reason to go out there and say, you know what? Enough is enough. What is going on? Now, there's a lot of people on both sides here. People that are defending the police officer who shot and killed Kohen Wiley, a 1-year-old baby, whether it was accidental or not, right? And we're going to get to that right now because I have some theories about that. And then there's a lot of people that are defending the mother and her friend who they believe just because they were accused of stealing in Walmart, whether it's true or not, you know, that baby should have never been shot. So let's break it down. Police were called to a Walmart because of suspicion of shoplifting. It happens all the time, right? Were these two women racially profiled because they were Black women walking around with a 1-year-old child with diapers that the employees believe were unpaid for? We're talking about diapers here. It's not like they were stealing makeup. It's not like they were stealing food or automotive items or things that are expensive like TVs. We're talking about diapers. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm an employee at Walmart and I see two women with a 1-year-old baby walking around and they're snagging some diapers, I know it's wrong. A crime is a crime. You know, stealing a pack of M&Ms is just as bad as stealing a television. I get it. It's against the law. But that's where the pettiness comes in. If you see two women that I believe, and this is just on my take, are struggling to the point that they have to steal some diapers for a child, I'm going to turn the cheek. That's just me. Now, I know there's going to be people, well, we ain't going to hire you in our business. You're going to let people take from us. It's a fucking pack of diapers, right? Also, but I understand being a law-abiding citizen, a crime is a crime. I might have said something to him like, hey, if you need them, I got you, and bought them for him, right? Rather than sacrificing my job or just doing that. There's a lot of different options. But anyways, cops were called because of suspicion of theft. And these women, as they were exiting Walmart in the front, they started to get at one of them, right? The one who I believe was holding the diapers. Now, her friend, who is Kohen Wiley's mother, had her son. And so that means when she exited, the police officers were already there. The loss prevention unit, the police officers apprehended her friend. They're jamming her friend up for a receipt. Now, according to Kohen Wiley's mother, the victim's mother, the baby's mother, she said that she believed her friend did pay for those diapers. Her friend said that she did pay for those diapers. So it would have been very easy to just produce the receipt. Most stores nowadays, every time you walk out, they're checking the receipt. I know back in the days, I used to get pissed about it. I used to be like, why the fuck you checking my receipt, right? You think I'm a thief or something? But now it's just common practice. They're just checking everyone's. They usually scratch it off, boom. And the reason they're doing that is not to check your stuff, but they're scratching it off to make sure that people don't find it in the parking lot, steal items, and go in there and try to return them. That's really what the thing is about. But anyways, they're talking to the woman who they believe were stealing diapers. And look, let's be real. Usually when police are called, 99% of the time, someone is stealing. Okay, let's just keep it real. I know it's just diapers in this situation, and a baby losing their life over diapers is very serious, very petty, and just crazy. But they still were stealing, or she was at least. Now, her friend having no knowledge of this, maybe, maybe not. Either way, you are not going into a store with your 1-year-old child to steal unless that's very bad parenting, right? Hey, if you couldn't find a babysitter, then just don't steal that fucking day. Okay, don't steal at all. Because what happens if you get locked up? Where's your 1-year-old baby going to go? I'm sure the baby daddy's not in the situation, or he's not present. So anyways, as these two women coming out, one of them walks with her baby to the car. The other one's getting talked to. For whatever reason, she says she ain't going to show a receipt. Or maybe she doesn't have a receipt to show, and she makes it to the car. Now, it's from what I read, right? The police officers seen this other woman with her, and they seen her walk to the car with the baby. So they had knowledge that there was a baby in that vehicle. Okay? As the other woman gets to the vehicle, there's yelling, arguing going on. There's a lot of excitement in there. There's a lot of, it's a situation. They allegedly, the police officers are stating that this woman tried to run them over as she was trying to flee the scene. And they engaged by opening up fire on this car because they felt she was trying to run them down. Now, I know the police officers are trained that if they're ran down, if something like that happens, to engage. That is, at that time when that car is moving, it is now a deadly weapon. It has become a dangerous and deadly weapon, something that could be used to take the life of the officer, right? So the officer reacted quickly by shooting 6 times, I believe, into the vehicle. Now, these officers seen this woman, this other woman, her friend, not the one that was apprehended, but the other girl with this baby. So they knew, to my knowledge, they knew that there was a child in that vehicle. At that point, when does it become, look, I know you're trying to run me over, but as a man, I know there's a baby in there, so I'm going to go ahead and just move out of the way. Obviously, no officer was injured. They were able to move out of the way. I'm not going to engage with a firefight and shooting. I'm just going to follow the vehicle and hopefully follow them to where they're going and pull them over and snatch them up and then charge them with reckless and endangerment of a child, trying to fucking kill an officer, whatever they want to charge them with, theft, but never shoot into that vehicle because, there's a baby in there, an innocent 1-year-old child. You can't hurt that child based on the transgressions of the parents. Again, now at the same time, whether they were stealing a pack of diapers or not, and I don't believe the officers knew what exactly they were stealing. They just were called because there was some shoplifting going on, right? There's a lot of people outraged right now saying, it was just a pack of diapers. I understand it was just a pack of diapers, but they were just pulling up to do their job, and this escalated quickly. Who's to blame? Everybody. In my estimation, everybody in this whole situation is to blame. And I don't blame the people outraged right now. But I don't believe that you utilize a situation that could have been prevented on every side and just blame the police, because and sit there and say like they targeted the baby or that they meant to hurt this baby. Look, first of all, you don't take your fucking child to steal at all. Whether that woman was stealing or not, if you know your friend's stealing, you walk away in that store from your friend and say, hey, whatever you got going on, you got going on. I got my baby with me. I can't be involved in that. 2, when you get into that vehicle, with your child, this baby was not put in a car seat. There was no car seat present in the car. This baby was not strapped in. So it was a dangerous situation. She had this baby on her lap. Okay, she had this baby on her lap, and he's 1 year old. He should have been in a car seat. It's illegal to drive with kids under the age of 14 in a vehicle. Yes, literally, or at least in the state of California. I don't know how it is in Mississippi, but I know at one point it was actually illegal. I think it was 11 years old, excuse me, for the kid to even ride in the front seat or without, a car seat. Some form or fashion. I know in the beginning it's a car seat, then it goes to a booster chair or whatever. And then the child can ride in the back to, I think, the age of 14, and then they're allowed in the front. However it goes, right? You have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too up on that rule. Anyways, the fucking baby is not supposed to be on a woman's lap, especially when you see something like this going on. Don't go sit in the car and leave your friend by herself to defend herself with all these police and all these shoplifting prevention people. You just keep on walking. I would have grabbed my kid and just kept on walking. Not to the vehicle, waiting for my friend to get snatched up or to see what happens, but I would have just kept on walking with my kid. That has nothing to do with me. I don't want no part of that. I'm gone, right? But this woman chose to put her kid on her lap and sit in the front seat. As her friend approached the vehicle, she should have told her friend, no, I got the baby. Don't do that. But her friend overran the cops. This is allegedly what happened. And then the cop, one single cop engaged, and he opened up fire. His fault too, right? Now, I understand that they're trained, and at that moment, he felt that she was trying to kill him by overrun him. But if you know there's a baby in that vehicle, you have to refrain. You have to take a step back. You have to say, you know what? Hey, I'm okay. Once she passed me, I'm okay. I'm not going to engage. But he didn't do that. He opened up fire, and in doing so, 1-year-old Kohen Wiley was hit, and it was fatal, right? So now there's a lot of different stories and conflicting stories and different things going on, and the community is outraged. There's riots, there's protests, there's community leaders and civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, who's making statements about this situation. Now, you need to understand, with all this stuff going on with like Carmelo Anthony, it's a racially charged atmosphere right now. People are picking sides, black and white. Okay. In this situation, it's not a black and white thing. It's a police officer and a black community thing. And this is not the first time that shootings like this have happened. This is not the first time in that area, Senatopia, Mississippi, that there's been incidences between the police community and the black community. So I think this one, because it's a 1-year-old child, has just set them over the edge, and they're using this as a precedent to set a precedent. They're going to lay a demo down. Now, if you're going to do that, and you have every right to protest, every right to question and ask why was this not prevented? Why did it have to go this far? Why did this child have to lose his life? You can't just point the fingers at the officers. You need to also point the fingers at the mother and her friend. You don't take a 1-year-old baby to the fucking store to steal. You don't have a 1-year-old baby in a vehicle with no car seat. You don't place the baby on your lap when you know things are going on. You don't allow your friend to try to mow down the cops. Hey, you're just as guilty for the loss of your child as that officer that pulled the trigger. You could have prevented that by never going there. Now, if you're hard up and you need diapers, you could have went in front of that Walmart and asked people. Instead of stealing, hey, man, take your 1-year-old son if you have to out there. Hey, I need diapers. Or if it was your friend that was doing it for a child of hers at home, swallow your pride and go out there and hustle. Do whatever you have to do. But to go in there and steal, and I know it was just a measly pack of diapers, which to us in real life is nothing, but to some people it's everything. It's everything, man. So I'm not going to judge on what they were stealing or not stealing. I don't give a shit. If I see people stealing food or something like that, I'll actually pull up and buy them it. It's just the type of person I am. It depends on what they're stealing. If they're stealing TVs and computers, nah, this motherfucker's just trying to come up and get dope. But if I actually see them taking food, not big packs of meat they could sell, but bread and food, I'll buy it for them if I see it, right? It's just a situation like that. Let me explain something to you that I did the other day, and then we're going to get back to this because it's racially charged and it's going down, and people are going to make this an issue. It's already an issue. There's a store I go to every day. I just happen to go to the store every day to get groceries. I'm one of those type of people. I buy bulk groceries, but at the same time, if I want something to eat in particular, I go buy that. I'm going to go buy this, this, and this for dinner. It's what I need. So I'm at this store consistently. And at first there was this brother walking around, right? And I'd seen him the first few times. And now this is over a long period of time. I started to realize and recognize that I see this dude every fucking time I'm in here. There's no way. And I'm thinking he's thinking the same thing. Like, damn, there's no fucking way. Now I know what I'm going for every day, but this just too, like, is he doing the same thing? He always has a full basket with the same items. So I realized he was a loss prevention. He was a secret shopper. He was in there shopping, trying to bust people. So one day I just said, fuck it, man. I was curious. I just walked up to him. This was recently the other day. And like, hey, bro, are you a secret shopper? Like, what do you got going on? He was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But he had a little earphone in his ear, a little thing. Come on, bro. You're not listening to Madonna Holiday. You're fucking trying to catch people, right? And he was like, and then finally the brother came out and he's like, yeah, man, I be doing that. I said, man, shit, cool. Do your thing, man. I said, motherfuckers be stealing a lot. He said, man, more than you know. He said, it's mostly women in here stealing like items like food and shit. And I said, they might need it, bro. Right? So a couple days later, I see him. He's following this woman. And she's like a tweaker. She's drugged out. You could tell she's moving and grooving. And I kind of like follow the situation just to peep it out. I'm nosy, right? And I see where she's trying to get out, and he snatches her. And she had like some peanut butter, jelly, some bread, some milk. Like it looked like she was just trying to get a peanut butter salad, doing her Elvis Presley. And as I'm walking by, I see they snatched her, right? I walk right up and I see the dude, and he was like, oh man, I got this. I say, yeah, no, I got this. How much is all this? He's like, no, you can't do that. I said, yeah, I can. Hey, I walked right in there, told the manager that was with him, because they had like another chick had come. I guess she was a secret shopper. I was like, good to know, right? Because she'd be following me around like a motherfucker. And then the manager and everything, I said, can I pay for this shit? And the lady was trippy. She was all tweaked out. I said, can I pay? They're like, yeah, if you want. I said, have you called the police? No. I said, hey, don't ever come back in here. If you're hungry, man, just ask someone. Boom, boom, boom. She left. That's a true fucking story, right? Black dude was like, you're a cold piece, but a good man. And I just walked out, right? I felt bad. So I can understand what these women having to go through, probably single mothers. And I'm not judging them because they're black. I don't want people to get mad. Why they got to be single mothers? Because the man wasn't there, right? Straight up. And this, I don't believe, is racially charged as far as they're just killing them because they're black. But I do believe that this officer could have used better judgment. But again, man, if he felt his life was in danger and you're breaking the law, he's going to use deadly force if he feels you're using that type of force. Pressure, is pressure applied is going to be received with pressure. You know what I mean? Spit at me, I'm spitting at you back. It's just what it is. Pressure. The community is outraged. They believe this was not justified. They believe these officers overdid it. They used over excessive force, and in doing so, Kohen Wiley, the 1-year-old baby, has lost his life. I believe this is another situation where it's just fucked up on all sides, and there's people that are actually backing the mother up. That's her baby. How do you think she feels? I've watched the videos of the mother talking about the situation. I haven't seen that many tears. I haven't seen that many emotions for her 1-year-old baby. I don't know if she's emotionally challenged or what's going on, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. She looks like it's just like this is her time to shine now. Kind of reminds me, and I don't want people to get mad, but it kind of reminds me of Carmelo Anthony's parents. Like, they've showed more emotion, but not as much as you would think. I know if my kid's fucking gone forever, I'm crying and crying and crying and screaming and yelling. That you'll never get me to talk normally. I don't give a fuck. You just won't get me to do that, right? And I'm a whole grown-ass man, but my children are mean much more than anything, money, anything. And so who's to blame here? Why all this outrage? Everyone's to blame. The officer needed to make a better judgment call. If he's seen this child, now, if he did not see this child, he used the judgment he thought best. He used his training. And it's just unfortunate that out of everyone in that car, that baby, had to pay for the transgressions of his mother. As far as the mother and the woman, I mean, come on, man. Taking your baby to go steal, no car seat, that's ghetto as fuck. Not black as fuck, ghetto as fuck. Ghetto, there's Mexicans, whites, blacks, Asians, greens. Everybody's in the ghetto, right? So, it's just a bad situation. Now, as far as people using this to rally, it's because it's not the first time that something like that has happened in that area. They're going to use this as the catalyst. Right. And I know people are like, man, we're fatigued. We're tired of the black community being mad or making things racial. I haven't heard them making this racial. as far as a black and white thing, but I have heard them say that this is racial profiling. And I've been, a victim of racial profiling, to some degree. Maybe not racial profiling, but looked at because of my tattoos and because I looked like a gang member. Because I remember one time, man, I was by a family member's home, and I was walking to the store to get cigarettes, right? And as I'm walking, I get to the store, I get my cigarettes, I'm walking back, I see cops. They're coming this way as I'm walking that way. You feel me? So they're looking right at me. I had a tank top on, I'm all tatted back, bald-headed. I look like a gang member, right? But I'm minding my own business. I'm not committing a crime. I'm doing me. And sure enough, as soon as them motherfuckers see me, they hit the reverse. They didn't blurt me right there. They hit the reverse. Luckily, my family member's house was right there, the first house, and they had a little fence with you can walk in. And so as this cop's coming, they hit the reverse on me. I mean, the U-turn on me. I walked in the yard real quick, and they seen that I was in the yard, and they just kind of just passed me slow. My family member was on the porch, and they're like, "What the fuck you doing?" I already know they were gonna snatch me up, ask me questions. Where was I going? What was I doing? All because of the way I looked. So is that racially profiling? Maybe not so, but that was definitely profiling. In this case, man, was it over excessive force because they were two black women? Did they overdo it by opening up fire? Right? I don't know. I guess that's the question. I guess that's the $1 million question. My thing is, they were well within their reasoning to use force when deadly force was applied to them. But there's a time and a place for everything. That's when you have to use your fucking common sense in your mind and say, hey, there's a kid there. Now, if they didn't know there was a kid there, that's totally, I mean, and I'm not saying the mother's not at fault for this, because she definitely is by taking her fucking kid, and I know she's saying, oh, I didn't know they were stealing. We didn't steal. We have a receipt. Show the fucking receipt. You show the receipt and sue them motherfuckers, right? But I mean, come on now. Think about it. Let's just be real. They went in there to steal some fucking items, steal some diapers, got caught, tried to run. Her friend made the ultimate faulty decision of trying to, go head up with the cops, and they opened fire, and the baby died. That's exactly what happened. And now the community is rioting. They're picketing. They're, rallying together. And I ain't mad at them. As long as there's no violence, as long as they're not trying to hurt the police officers, the ones that are there that are just trying to do their job, if they're not, doing that, if they're just having a civil protest, if they're doing it responsibly and, in a positive fashion, trying to raise awareness or question and ask questions, because you have every right to do that, that's cool. But once it starts to become, violent and people throwing things and people trying to hurt the police, yeah, then don't be mad when, someone else gets hurt. Anyways, let me know what you think about the situation. It's a big thing going on. Speaking of steam, man, I seen it. I'm just like, damn, it sucks. Pobrecito, the poor 1-year-old, man, didn't even get a chance to live. Didn't know what was going on. Didn't know what they were doing, what they were stealing, and what happened. He's just gone. Should the mother be held responsible? If the police officer is going to be held responsible, should the mother be held responsible, and her friend as well, for endangering that child? Let me know what you think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio and get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. Hey, if you need an estimate, a cool estimate on some yard work, hit up Sticks and Stones Yard Service. Oh, no, yes. I shaved. Like it matters, huh? Bang, bang.